one thing that I liked a lot about all these stories was the names, especially with Ghana Must Go. The way that, especially that it was the woman, was Fola, who took sovereignty
Of naming the kids.
Which
is rare.
Yeah, and I learned something about how in Yoruba culture, how twins are named. So Taiwo, Taye, and Kehinde being the one that came last, because that's the wiser one that sent, that sent his sibling out to just go and test and see how things are, and then after that, if everything was okay, he now comes out, and how the child that follows the twins is Idowu. Yeah. It also mentions that for Fola,
right,
the mother of twins, it's like, there's like this kind of...
It's a privilege.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people want to have twins, because it's like, my dad's a twin. He's a Kehinde.
Yeah.
So it's considered a source of pride that you have twins.
Yeah.
And in the culture, it's the males that name the children. So the fact that she, as a woman, decided to name her kid was why that was like, whoa. Yeah. It's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
It's usually the males that name the kids.
Yeah.
I think both authors, in the books that I read at least, for Ghana Must Go, I think if you read Taye Selassie's own personal biography, she has sort of this estrangement of being an African that knows so many other cultures and has lived so many other places except for Africa. And in her work, you kind of see that. And I think that she uses this character, Folashade, as somebody who kind of represents this transient existence. And the naming part is interesting. Probably might foreshadow what happens later on to the family. This sort of like disruptive piece of existence that happens. Yeah. I thought that the names of the children being primarily of her descent and then secondarily of her husband spoke to sort of the relationship she had with her husband. Personally, I don't know, I may be reading too much, but like the father doesn't play this active role in the family in the nurturing.
Yeah,
he senses
it's a good point.
He definitely senses that because he only sees his place as a provider.
Yes.
He doesn't talk to the kids as much. Yeah. When he's coming home or leaving, it's sort of this.
It's like in the morning, it's like
I'm just here to provide the sperm for my wife
and
money for her to do what she does. I don't know what she really does, but I support it in that way. And I thought that was the naming process for each of the kids. I think they go through it in the book. Yeah, it was kind of like that. She was just like, I know what this one is. I know what this one is. And he was just like, okay. You do that.
Except Sadie.
Except for Sadie, who he saved.
He didn't like. And that's probably why he didn't like the name Idowu. He didn't like how it sounded, and then he wanted to name her Ekua.
I love that name.
How is Sadie spelled? Because I listened to the book.
Sadie.
Sadie.
Yeah. Okay.
So in my culture, it's pronounced as Sadi.
Sadi. Okay. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, and with my parents' bedroom, the one that takes place in Rwanda, right? This might be stretching it, but from a colonialist standpoint. So if I take, for example, in Nigeria, right? My parents, their names are English, right? And it was, during the colonial times.
Most people took English names.
Yeah. They took English names. But as soon as colonialism ended, right? They went back to
neckbands.
Yeah, exactly. They went back to the local language names. And it was just like, that's it. We are done with these.
My name is To God Tolulope, means to God be the glory.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody says that name, it's like someone praying for you.
Yeah.
So that's why they kind of like, they don't want to deprive their kids of the
And I like
blessing
that.
of the name.
I like that. Yeah.
It's not just a name.
Yeah.
There's a meaning
There's
to it.
there's a story behind
There's a
it.
story
There's
behind
my-
it,
yeah.
or a
Yeah.
wish, a prayer,
Yeah.
or desire, or something
Yeah.
that's happening in the context of what's going on.
Yeah.
So the names have a purpose.
The same thing. Like anytime someone asks me the meaning of my name, I have to smile and take a pride because that story that my parents told me that
Yes.
led to my
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
always comes to the
Yeah.
front.
That
It's
is
very
true. I mean,
interesting.
given that my name is Pamela, Pamela is my second name, so I do have a cultural name that is my first name. So the names are
And what is it? Which is
it's Mohori.
McCarthy.
Oh my word.
I'd have to get,
And what is
but I like how it sounds.
What does it mean?
Mohori. So I'm the last
That's your
born.
email.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's my. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm a last born. So when basically what Mohori means, it means the one who leads or the one who pulls. So what
Nice.
my mother figured is that when she is old, I will be the one who pulls her or leads her. And when if she
Wow.
cannot see, I will be the one who pulls her, which is technically happening. But
Yeah.
that is it.
Wow.
You don't just. I know it's a pretty amazing name.
Yeah.
But they even in our country they don't just name because it sounds good.
Right.
Yeah.
They name either
Very
it's
much
an event.
different.
Yeah.
Something
if
that happened.
something is happening at that
Yeah.
time, because if maybe a child would be called Motlalipula. Motlalipula is the one who comes with rain. Someone's name can be that.
Yeah.
It's different events.
Yeah.
But also there can be, sadly, names that are talking about a sad thing that happened, and sometimes
But it's worth remembering
parents
that.
will call their children, things that are happening at that moment, which is not always good because there's really a lot of stuff that goes into a name.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
it carries a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
power.
like
And
in
it happens because people they
Yeah.
don't just call their children; they call them so that they can relate to something.
Yeah.
yeah, or they can
So-
remember like in the Igbo language there are names like Odemena, meaning let this not happen again.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Right. So it's like, okay, something really bad happened. Please God, let that not happen again.
Like there's similar names in Yoruba,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
Omolaja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What does that mean?
Yeah, that sounds
It's
dangerous.
like usually a child who was
Okay.
born when
A
ahead.
kid who, Omolaja, probably a kid who solved the fight, right?
Right, yeah.
Omolaja, right?
right.
Yeah.
There must have been a fight.
So you can just
Somebody
tell
solved
the
it.
child tells you his name. You're like, oh, your parents were having issues when you were born, eh?
Well, for me, so my name is Kelechi, means thank God, right? There
Right.
was a class assignment one day where I didn't ask my dad why he named me that. He said, well, it was because there was he had a land dispute. Yeah, no, seriously, it was like a serious land dispute
Oh, wow.
with some neighbors. that
Every
he-
land dispute is serious in
that
Igbo
he
land.
won.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that he won.
It was a serious land
And then
dispute.
because he won and everything got resolved, and I was born at the time that it was over. He's like, thank God. Kelechi.
Came with the right.
Yeah.
My name is Nekme Asirua, my full Bini name. And it means patiently will come to you. And that describes my parents' courtship before they got married. There's
Wow.
this long sort of process before they actually got married and then they had me. So
Wow.
that's what my name means.
Interesting. What does your name mean?
Well, my name is Morakinyo, right? That's
Yeah.
my first name. But
Yeah.
And Omobola is my middle name.
Middle
Omo
name.
people. Akin is
Akin's a king or something.
right.
Like a strong person.
I've seen, I rejoice with the birth of
A strong.
right,
strong,
of a
yeah.
strong
Okay.
presence or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, that's. But my brother, like I said earlier, his name is Omolaja. You know, so my parents were actually having issues when he was born. So after that, when he
Yeah.
had me, so Morakinyo.
Yeah.
So that kind of
That's
put a
interesting.
nice full stop to the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my brother's name, my older brother, his name is Amanze.
What
So
is
the
Amanze?
full is Amanze Ichiechi, meaning yeah,
Wow.
a king's kingdom never, closes or never
Right.
dies.
Okay.
Yeah, so a king reigns forever, something like that. Because, he's the firstborn, so maybe
Oh,
that's
okay.
why.
We're gonna have more
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah,
basically.
so that's like, it's like,
Yeah, I've never heard that.
my kingdom,
Continues.
my kingdom can be my children.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And my legacy is just gonna continue.